Hi there. Today we are going to look at, what's happening right now is that we are ignoring AI, we are rejecting AI, we are in denial that AI is here. But if you're in this uh, today's session, I think you're in the right place because you want to change your mind. You want to uh, look at what AI and what are some of the benefits of AI in M&E. So in this video, we are just going to explore the integration of AI in M&E for developmental projects. But the focus really is around the opportunities. What are some of the opportunities that are there for us as M&E specialists and also as people that are in the M&E space or even the governmental spaces or in the NGO space? What are some of the opportunities? And also look at some of the things, the ethical considerations that we have to take note of, even as we're trying to integrate these systems or the AI in our line of work. Okay. So my name is Mike Mwale, and I'm also learning about AI, but I've decided to take a very interesting route by becoming an evaluation and AI strategist. And if you need tailored teachings, tailored trainings, you can always reach out to me and I'll be able to provide you these different trainings because I believe AI is here to stay. The earlier you jump on the ship, the earlier you jump on the train, the better. The longer it takes, the more expensive it becomes. So let's get together in this and work together. Okay. Now, just to give a background, what's happening right now in the M&D space, we are seeing a change in a shift really with regards to how we do implement M&E. We are now seeing more of modernized M&E where we focus on the results and the outcomes, unlike the traditional M&E that is mainly on the activities and the inputs, right? So, and this shift really has come at a very important time because with the coming of AI, I think things will be very faster and will transition very faster. So the best for you is to get on board, learn AI, integrate it in your work, and get the best results possible. Now, right now, what's happening is that there's a demand for large data, real-time data, and that can only be possible when you integrate AI for you to have real-time analysis because people want to make decisions faster and accurate. And that cannot be possible if you integrate AI in your programming. And that's what we're going to look at in this video, right? In simpler terms, I would define AI as a system that has the ability to interpret the external data correctly, right? And then to learn from such data and then to use those learnings to achieve specific goals and tasks through flexible adaptation. That's AI. That's my basic definition of what AI in respect to this session, okay? The thing that I'm really interested about is that how AI has transformed the way we work. We are now more focusing on prospective analysis, type of analysis. Unlike what we used to do, which was retrospective, we are looking at past data, but now we're looking at, okay, with this data, let's do a projection to see what's going to happen. We are now integrating predictive analysis, which is a very important thing. But there is always this argument that AI is going to replace people. It will replace you if you're not going to integrate AI in your line of work. That I can tell you, and that I can guarantee you. So the earlier the better, integrate AI, pick a tool, pick a solution, solve that problem. Okay. Now, some of the things that you encounter as you're trying to learn or integrate AI is what we call the machine learning. So with machine learning, basically you're teaching the machine to understand how to code, to understand your code content, to understand your project, and also to group some of the things that are related. So that's another aspect that you are doing in your line of work when you're working with machine learning. Then the other thing is the natural language processing and also generative AI. So when you look at natural language processing, it helps the machine to understand and work with language. So that you can get something in French and put it in a chat box, in an AI tool, it will be able to translate that. You can get complex text, you put it in chat box, it's able to understand and generate insights. That's what this means. Then the other thing is generative AI. It helps the machine to create new content that resembles human output. You want to write a report and you're stuck on how to go about it, you use generative AI. AI can help you now develop that content that you want to develop. Geospatial data, the GIS, it's common in M&E field. Here you're looking at data from satellites, drones, and Internet of Things for mapping, and tracking. This is something that we have to adopt now. With the coming of AI, we are in a good run for our money. Okay. The other thing is chatbots and virtual agents. You know what these guys do is that they simulate the human conversation for tasks and questions. You can develop a chatbot, you put it on your website, it's going to have interactions with whoever that is going to go on the website and has a question that back then they would have to call you and answer. But these work 24/7. Someone at midnight can go on the website, ask a question, it will respond. That is where we're going. So if you have routine tasks, you can develop a chatbot for that. If there are Q&A questions that people want to ask about your work, your project, you can develop that so that people can understand what your project is all about. That is how we need to do. That is how we need to think about utilizing AI. The other thing is social media analysis. There's a demand for social media data. We are reaching quite a number of people with our social media posts, social media campaigns, but we need to ensure that we do a very quick analysis and see whether our intervention is really working or not. So you can use social media AI analytics to help you just collect, track, and analyze the data. Now, some of the opportunities that I just want to share with you in this session that you need to adopt. Number one, but before we go there, is just something that you need to understand is that AI is is very important, right? AI is important. The earlier we jump on, the better. So now the thing that we need to understand is AI-driven predictive analysis. These they help us improve project performance because you're running a project and you do a predictive analysis with the resources that you have, with the time that you resource, with the capacity that you have, and the projection is telling you that you may not hit your target because of A, B, C, D. You can make some project improvements, and this can actually improve your performance by 60%. Okay, resource allocation. You do a projection analysis and say, okay, budget projection, okay, okay, by the end of the fifth year, this is the amount of money that we need to spend, and all. You do those analysis, the budget analysis. What the finance team does is that it will help you now to gauge, say, okay, with these resources and time and activities, are we going to hit our target? And if you discover that, okay, actually we might actually hit our target with less cost, so you can make those adjustments in your programming. You know, there is always this debate that AI is not accurate, but at least it's 85 to 92% accurate. It's better to have data than not to have any data at all. So that is something that I just wanted to share with you. But coming back to the opportunities now that you have to take and utilize, the opportunities that come with AI, improved speed, accuracy, and timeliness in your report production. People would call and say, look, you have 3, 4, 5 emails that want different type of reports. With coming of AI, you can do those reports within a blink of an eye, right? Because you've built a system, you've built a model, you just put in your input and say, okay, this person wants this type of report, this one wants this type of report using the same data, but 3 different type of requests. You put in your model, you put in your data set, your whatever question that these guys want, and you pull out different type of reports at the same time. With AI, speed, accuracy, and timeliness. That's another opportunity that you have to take note of. The other one is automating routine tasks. There are certain activities that we do that are so routine in M&D, like collecting data, cleaning the data, analyzing the data. You can develop an automation where you just enter that data set, you put it in that system, it cleans it cleans the data itself based on the model that you developed. You want an analysis, you get that clean data, you put it in the model. It provides different type of visualization and analysis that you want to use because you've built a model. So that is where we can automate some of these tasks. Okay, that's an opportunity as well. The other thing is handling large and complex data sets. When we integrate AI in our line of work, it's easy for AI to analyze vast data. So those are some of the things that we have to take note of. So understand what tool you need and what problem you want to solve, and pick what tool and model that you want to use for you to handle some of these large data sets. The other thing is dynamic management tool. You can develop this project management tool using AI that will help you now increase performance, improve feedback, get feedback from the different stakeholders. You can actually use chatbots to get feedback from the community, the stakeholders that you're engaging with. So those are some of the things that you can develop. The other thing is new insights. Okay, with the coming of AI, it's able to generate new content every day. So with your data, with your project, you can get new content based on what other people are doing by just getting the right prompt and also just running a very good prompt, and people will be able to understand what you're doing. So basically, that is something that you want to do when it comes to AI. Some of the use of AI, you can use AI, for example, in data collection and processing. You can use mobile applications that have integrated AI in them to do data collection. And then you can also do social media analysis. You do meta AI analysis. Using meta AI, you can do social media analytics to just get a very proper and concise report. Then you can also use the chatbots, like we mentioned, to just gather feedback from participants that come to your site, that come to know about your project. You can put that, integrate that on your website or maybe on that project site to just people to ask questions that they want to know about the project. And if they have feedback that they want to give, they can give that feedback based on that information that people are putting there. Then for analysis purposes, you can use machine learning to understand your data. You have a huge data set. You can use machine learning to understand your data. Then you have the natural language and also generative AI. It's the same thing. You can use them to understand your data in human language and also generate what we call outputs that is humanized. So those are some of the things that you want to do. And then precise analytics also is also another aspect that I'm very much excited, especially if you're in the agriculture space where you have to do precise agriculture. You're going to use different type of systems for you to analyze your yield and also to test and also detect some of these crops diseases and all these other things, right? The other thing is the graphs. AI is you can have a large data set. You run it in a model and you have a very amazing visualization and understanding of whatever you wanted to understand with the blink of an eye. So you can develop some of these graphs that will help you tell a story. The thing about AI that I'm excited is it's the rate at which you get things done. I can do what AI can do, or you can do what AI can do, but the amount of time that you're going to spend is too much, right? That time could have been taken to other tasks that may need that may need your presence, right? So that's the reason why we need to embrace AI because it's here to stay. Now, so despite the opportunities, but that AI comes with, there are also some challenges or some dilemmas that maybe uh, you want to know. The first one is the bias, because AI is based on existing data. So now, if that data, the historical data that is in AI, is not clean or is not comprehensive, so you're going to have very poor outcomes of your prompt that you have generated or the results that you've generated from using AI. So those are some of the issues that you have to take note of, and those are some of the ethical issues that you must consider even as you are developing models that will help you work on your project. So you need to ensure that you develop models that you fed the right data so that it gives you the right information at the end of the day. The other thing is data privacy and security. Um, because we are working with a tool, a system, and we're inputting data in that system, we need to get wary of the data privacy and security. If we're developing our own models, then we have to come up with guidelines to ensure that everybody follows through those the data privacy and security measures that have to be put in place for the organization. So those are some of the things that we have to understand. Okay, there are challenges, yes, with these tools, but we need to also protect ourselves by ensuring that we do not put sensitive data in these platforms because we do not know who controls the data, where this data is going to be stored. But what we know is that it will help us answer these questions that we have, but we don't know where that data will be stored, whether it will be deleted, and if it's deleted, then what? So have all those things in mind as you're trying to integrate AI in your line of work. The other thing is accountability gaps. AI, some of these models, they have third party and they also have the black box system. So you find that 80%, 85% of these implementation, they rely on this type of system. So as a result, it's hard for you to pinpoint if at all there's a data breach, because there are always these third parties. So the key thing is ensure that you have guidelines in your programming, you have guidelines in your organization that will protect you against these data breach so that you are not held accountable and you protect yourself and your organization and your project from compromising the quality and well-being of the people you're working with. Okay. The other thing is misinformation and fabrication. AI is not 100% correct. So meaning there's that percentage that of error. So it is your responsibility for you to ensure that the AI models that you're developing do not fabricate information. Okay. So you need to ensure that you counter check the results that are being developed from AI so that you understand that data is not fabricated. And the reason why AI does these things is because of hallucination. It may not have the data that you are requesting for, but because it does not want, because it doesn't want to just give a no for an answer, it will generate something that is related to what you're looking for, but it may not be accurate, right? And the other thing, it may also give misinformation because sometimes the existing data may not be accurate anyway. So it may give you misinformation or misleading information that may actually impact your project. So those are some of the issues that we have to take note of as we're developing, as we're trying to integrate AI in our systems. The other thing is data quality issues. So data quality issues with AI is a result of your prompt. Okay. The input that you put, the prompt that you put will determine the outcome of that result. So I'll give an example. We are both on ChatGPT. You want to develop a framework for a smart agriculture project. And I also want to develop a framework for a smart agriculture project. So for me, what I'll do is I'll just develop a smart agriculture framework, right? I'll develop that. It will give me, right? Then another person who has a very good prompt engineering idea or knowledge or skill, they'll give instructions to ChatGPT. Develop these, do that, and create that chain of thought, right? So the results that they'll get and the results that I'll get will be different. It's the same tool, right? And what we want is the same result. But because of how I put my prompt will determine my outcome. So that one who gave instructions to the tool is going to get a very comprehensive framework, unlike me who's just gave it a very general prompt, right? So that's some of the things that you have to understand also. And also when it comes to prompt engineering, I do provide services, I do provide teachings, lessons on prompt engineering, how you can develop that. And I also developed a prompt, a platform where you can paste whatever that you want, and then it's going to help you generate a prompt. So I'll be able to share the link also so that you can just do and use that tool. The other thing is the over reliance and automation bias. Because we've developed these systems, we've developed this model, you put in the data in that model, and then it generates a report for you. We become so dependent on that. And the other thing now is we've become so biased in our automation, right? So we trust everything that comes out of the system. As a result, the AI is not accurate all the time. So we may end up getting wrong reports and sending these reports to the donors, which may actually impact the project. So those are some of the challenges and issues that you must face. The other thing is exclusion of data from poor population. In Africa, AI does not have so much information about Africa. So there are certain communities or certain, regions that do not that are not fully, captured in these AI systems. Why? Because of lack of data. The reason is because of this lack of data in those areas that is out there for AI to just classify. So as a result, those communities are totally excluded from these systems. As a result, we have what we call the inequalities in the data. So those are some of the issues that uh, you need to take note of as you're trying to model AI in your system. The other thing that may just in Africa's context, just coming back to Africa as well, the challenges is the capacity and knowledge gaps. AI is here, but only a few people are using AI, right? That's a gap because right now you should know at least different type of AI models that that you are familiar with. So those are some of the things that we face. The other thing is the cost. AI is it's not cheap, right? It's not cheap for you to just have that subscription. You need to have, like $8, $20 per month. So it's very expensive for individuals to just use that, pay for that, right? So are some of the things that we face. The other thing is the infrastructure. there are few data centers in Africa, in many African countries. So as a result, even for us to localize our knowledge, we have to rely for data centers outside our continent. So that's some of the gaps also that we face: infrastructure limitation, organization readiness. Organizations are still in denial of AI. They feel if a staff is using AI, then that person is cheating. You know, schools themselves, they feel if somebody is using AI, then that person is cheating. That's why they develop all these AI detector. But the truth of the matter is that AI is here to stay. The more you reject, the worse it becomes for you on your end. So the best is, let's adopt these tools. Let's adopt this. Let's allow our staffs. Let's allow our community to adopt these tools so that they're able now to utilize these tools because it saves time. You don't have to spend all these hours just to do something that you would have done it in 20 minutes, but you want to spend 40 hours just to do something. No, AI can do that for you. Now, as a program manager or as a team lead, and you want to understand, okay, with all this AI that's coming in, what is it that I need to see in my team? Okay, so now we have the essential competencies that you want to see in your evaluators that are in the AI era. So, what are some of the things that you want to see? You want to see your team should have data analysis skills. Okay, they should be able to do basic data analysis. They should have digital literacy. They should know how to operate these digital tools. Okay, they should also know a little bit of basic of programming because sometimes you know the code can the prompt may not be accurate, but if you know the basics around programming, you can correct AI to give you the right information. Then data ethics and privacy, they need to understand that there are consequences when you breach data. So they need your team should understand data privacy and ethics based on your region, based on your community, based on your organization. If you don't have those, you need to develop those guidelines. The other thing is collaborative skills. Because you're going to be working in collaboration with different people with different backgrounds, you need to have that skill to collaborate with different people that are technical and those that are non-technical. So that's some of the things that you have to look at. Okay. Then the other thing is the team composition. We need to see more data scientists in the M&E team. We need to see more data scientists in the evaluation team. It is not a duty of an evaluator, of an M&E to be conducting these data mining and having the skills of a data scientist. No, we need to have a data scientist personnel in that team because this is their line of expertise. For us to get the best out of that project that we're evaluating, let's have these guys on board so that they do this amazing analysis that they usually do. So that's something that we have to understand. And also with collaborative intelligence, we need to ensure that the evaluators and the data scientists can work together in a very collaborative manner to provide and produce a very good report with very good recommendations. Okay. Now, my recommendations for the M&D community, the government, the NGOs that are trying to integrate AI in their programming, the first one is phased implementation. Because, when you look at the project, a project has the cycles or the phases. So at each phase, you need to understand what tool do I need to help me do things faster? What AI tool can I use for me to plan my project? What AI tool can I use for me to conduct my baseline? So phased implementation, at every phase, think of what tool you can use to make your work faster and easier as you're trying to integrate AI in your programming. The second one, invest in capacity building. Here, train your staff, train your team members, train your community on AI so that even as you're speaking the same language. So that is something that you have to develop. Train and build capacity in your team. The other thing is develop government frameworks. If the government has not yet developed AI frameworks to regulate AI, then it's better to start doing that now because we need to protect the user and we need also to protect the tool itself from the user. Okay, we need all those things. The other thing is meaningful engagement with stakeholders. You've implemented the project using AI, so you need to also have those meaningful engagement with the stakeholders so that they understand the tool, they understand their role, they understand what they do, they understand what you do, and they understand how you got about those results because you used AI. So they also need to understand and also play a role in ensuring that your AI tool that you're using is actually adhering to the ethical and data privacy issues, right? The other thing is the critical ethical consideration. Prioritize the ethical consideration. So here, what you need to ensure that as you're developing these models, as you're doing integrating AI in your projects, you need to ensure that it adheres to ethical consideration because you don't want to expose AI to sensitive information. Okay? Because you don't know what can happen. You don't know who can pull out that information. So you need to ensure that that is done. The other thing is focus on local use. Your AI model should be tailored to that project that you are working on in that particular location so that even as you're asking your questions and even as it is pulling out data sources from different sources, it's still speaking it in line to your project. So you need to ensure that you focus on localizing the use of that data. The other thing is leverage on existing data. Use AI to learn from what other projects have done. You may not be there, but once you run a prompt to understand what other countries are doing with regards to smart agriculture, what are some of the innovative ideas that these guys are doing, AI will give you those ideas. So that is something that you have to take note of. Okay. Basically, that's it for today's session. But just my plea is that we need to harness AI for impactful development. Okay. We need to integrate AI in M&D interventions or implementation because it offers a very amazing opportunity for us to have a lot of um, efficiency, depth, and also real-time insights. So as a result, we need to also just embrace digital literacy, build capacity in people to use digital tools. Data analysis and collaborative skills will be paramount during this period that we are in. Okay. And also, even as we're developing these tools, let's be balanced so that we don't become biased. Let's be cautious so that we don't expose our data to harmful tools. And also, let's be ethically informed. Let's have that approach. Okay. So that we can drive more effective, equitable, and impactful development outcomes across the nation. Basically, that is that with AI, integrating AI in M&E. So if you need tailored training, um, tailored tools that you'd like to use in your programming, or if you want to learn more about what tool M&E people can use, you can always reach out and we'll be able to provide you different tools that we have used, that we've tested, approved, and tried. So basically, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you.